So Keir Starmer has spoken in a live TV interview during his visit to Ireland, and a lot of things were discussed, including the winter fuel payments, England and Ireland's relationship, whilst also discussing Britain's relationship with the EU that caught the internet's attention. In today's video, we will go over what was said and why Britons are not happy, whilst also going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like and subscribe button and join our fast-growing community. So Starmer has said, it is the moment to reset relations between the UK and the Republic of Ireland. On Saturday, he became the first British Prime Minister to visit the Republic of Ireland in 5 years. Downing Street said the visit marked a new era of cooperation and friendship between Britain and Ireland, which is fine, but following this he had an interview with Sky News and went on to speak about the EU that got the attention of Britons. He said, "We are also resting our relationship with the EU, and I have made it very clear that I want a closer relationship with the EU." Now this has angered Britons, as they don't want a closer relationship with the EU, as they voted to leave. Listen to the emphasis on the word "I" in the clip.
Pounds a year. I mean, how much of an obstacle is Brexit and the after effects of Brexit still to that?
We are also resetting our relationship with the EU, and I've made it very clear that I want a closer relationship with the EU. That's, of course...
Starmer has been warned by the EU that his scurrying about trying to get deals is not going to work. The Mail reports leaders in Brussels are unhappy with Mr. Starmer's approach of dealing with individual leaders rather than the EU as a whole. One diplomat is cited as saying, "The EU hates the idea of separate little deals because it would damage the EU project. It's all or nothing for them." And there are suggestions Mr. Starmer could leave empty-handed unless he gives ground on key points that may not please Leave voters who return to Labour in the 2024 general election. According to the Mail, Mr. Starmer would have to return freedom of movement for EU citizens under 30 to the UK as part of a youth exchange programme, with young people in the UK also likely to regain it for EU countries as part of the deal. The other concession it suggested was that the Prime Minister would have to exempt EU students from the higher international student fees UK universities charge to other overseas students. Glenn Owens claimed, if Sir Keir agrees, pro-Brexit voters, include those in the northern Red Wall seats Labour won back from the Tories in the general election, will surely revolt. But if he doesn't, he will leave any talks empty-handed. So we are in a situation that Starmer has been warned that going around individually and agreeing deals will not work. So is he dragging us closer to the bloc to then spring a surprise on us? Well, it wouldn't surprise me at all. What are your thoughts on Starmer's love affair with the EU? Let me know in the comments. In other news, Vaughan Gething has announced he will not seek re-election for the Senedd, following a series of scandals during his tenure as First Minister of Wales. The former First Minister said it had been an immense honour to serve his constituents and in the Welsh Government as he made the announcement. On X, the MS for Cardiff South and Penarth wrote, "I have spoken to the First Minister to confirm that I will not be seeking a role in government and that I will support her leadership as a backbencher." After paying tribute to his successor Eluned Morgan, Gething added, "I will continue to serve the constituency until 2026 and look forward to working on issues where I can further the causes of social justice that drew me into public service." The Labour MS added, "As a Welshman born in Zambia, it has been a great honour to serve in the Welsh Government for over a decade. The opportunity to make a difference alongside inspiring people and movements determined to make change happen is a special privilege. One I will always be grateful for and proud of." Gething lasted less than 140 days as First Minister, having presided over a turbulent period in office, beset by rows over donations and sacked ministers. He took over from Mark Drakeford in March and announced his intention to resign in July, after 4 members of his government quit, criticising his leadership. During the last leadership race, Gething took a £200,000 donation for his campaign from a company owned by a man twice convicted of environmental offences, which led to some members of his own party criticising his judgment. In June, Gething lost a vote of no confidence in the Senedd after rows over the donation, and his decision to sack Delyn MS Hannah Blythen as a minister. Baroness Morgan was Health Secretary from 2021 until she succeeded Gething, himself a former Health Secretary, as leader of Welsh Labour on July 24th, and was then sworn in as the first woman First Minister of Wales. She paid tribute to her predecessor and said he had made a truly historic contribution to Wales in some of the toughest of circumstances. Baroness Morgan added, "I know that Vaughan will go on to make important contributions to our country in the years ahead. Diolch Vaughan am bopeth rwyt ti wedi wneud dros ein gwlad. Thank you, Vaughan, for everything you have done for our country." Nick Thomas Simons, the Labour MP for Torfaen and a senior minister in Sir Keir Starmer's government at Westminster, said Mr Gething had given extraordinary service to Wales in a tribute on social media site X. "I will always remember how he stepped up during the pandemic, showing integrity and commitment in the hardest of times," he added. In other news, police officers have slammed the introduction of unisex uniforms. During a survey of the unisex uniforms of Gwent police officers, male officers complained about a lack of space in their trousers, according to the police union's national board member and well-being lead, Belinda Goodwin. The idea for unisex uniforms follows a study last year by Dr. Camilla de Camargo, a lecturer and policing researcher at Lancaster University Law School, which found police uniforms were designed by and for men. Her study also found that female officers had particular difficulty with trousers and stab vests. Dr. de Camargo found that, as a result of ill-fitting uniforms, female officers faced problems with performance on duty, morale and psychological well-being. However, speaking about the latest survey, Goodwin told The Sun, "During a survey, Gwent police male officers complained of experiencing crushed testicles. We have heard female officers facing discomfort because of the unisex trousers. All of this plays into how officers and staff feel on the job, and that cannot be understated." Also voicing his opinion about the uniforms, Benjamin Elks of the Taxpayers Alliance slammed the uniforms as a waste of money and woke nonsense. He added, "This farce is a distraction for officers who should be out catching criminals. Police forces should cut out waste and put bobbies on the beat." Speaking in an interview in July, former Home Secretary Suella Braverman warned the woke agenda is undermining public safety in the police. Speaking on the dangers of the diversity and inclusion agenda, Braverman said, "The police have also fallen prey to the DEI, diversity, equality and inclusion agenda, and far too many chief constables that I came across. Not all of them. There are some of them. The Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police was one of the good ones. But far too many police officers and chief constables have signed up to this agenda, and it's undermining public safety. I will tell you why it's really damaging. Chief constables will sign up to this woke, politically correct virtue-signalling agenda. It actually has a pernicious effect on public safety, because the next step from that is confessing to institutional racism. I'm afraid too many chiefs signed up to that agenda as well. They really believe that they are institutionally racist. They're not. That is to smear really brave, dedicated, patriotic, hard-working policemen and women all throughout our country who put their safety first for the sake of our own security. It then leads to pulling back on things like stop and search, because they believe that that is a racist method of crime prevention when it's one of the most effective ways of saving lives on our streets and cutting knife crime. And so, people are dying. Public safety is falling because of this agenda. That starts with certain police chiefs signing up to a very harmful and wrong-headed agenda. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.